Folks, thank you for tuning in to Area 52 America. I started Area 52 America back in 2005, actually, a few years before that, as I was looking at a lot of things going on in government. Area 52 America is really a play on words, as law has become alien to the American people. But at the same time, the legal system was growing and growing. And the legal system is like law, but it's a contract or an agreement, which many people know, but it binds nations together. It binds the world together. It binds people together. And of course, those who produce law, well, they'll tell you that the legal system is the fourth invisible branch of a three branch system. So I always believed that the legal system was overthrowing the law. It was becoming a control device, an invisible device that was conquering humanity, conquering common men, and conquering the government itself, the tools of the government, the positions of power of the government, moving throughout the world and binding nations through industries and thoughts and ideas and wars and rumors of wars. And at the time, I was looking at that 10 square mile area up there, the District of Columbia, and I started to say, that's acting like a foreign agent from outside the boundaries of humanity, almost like an invisible UFO or alien ship or some kind of interdimensional portal where everything coming out of there was tools of the enemy to suppress humanity. So as I looked and examined the identity of the dollar over the years before I started Area 52 America, I recognized that the dollar was a contract, that the images on the contract were drawing the past to the present, the former evil empires of existence that controlled the world from the invisible realm were coming together using the United States to produce the seeds of agreements, a meeting of the minds, a handshake agreement, and a contract, a device, a stamp of approval where America surrendered its rights to the image on the dollar bill. And as I looked into it, I recognized in the Bible, in Habakkuk, it described all these things. Now, I'm not a preacher, but I've read the Bible. I've looked at Revelations and Daniel and Ezekiel. But I found in Habakkuk something that was so significant that looked so much like America. It was incredible because here America was fulfilling that agreement, that contract to separate man, humanity, created by God, from the materialism, and I mean God's materialism, all of existence. Every atom, molecule that's ever been created is God's property. The math of building and making, the math of creating man, the math of creating everything that exists on this planet and the universe, and as far as we could see and as far as we can't see. We were surrendering by a contract with your hand shaking. Basically, you shake hands when you're passing the paper currency back and forth, which is actually made out of hay and stubble. The dollar is a good portion of straw. That's where linen comes from. They've actually took hay and stubble, which God does not recognize as being gold like. like thoughts and ideas that would be good. Other than that, it would be thoughts and ideas that are not good, that are contrary to what God wants to happen on this earth. And as I was saying in Habakkuk, which was so significant, that it even talks about the snare on the dollar, how the people who created the powers and principalities in high places have a tool that the people agree upon, handshake agreement, and your meeting of the minds. You're not aware of this, but and you're telling the other person or corporation or whoever you're dealing with that yes, I agree to this, and I agree to use this inferior currency that has swiped God's math away from him. And now we are working on our own with the dark forces. I know that sounds deep, but Area 52 America was all about that. And I talked about scientific dialectical materialism over 20 years ago. And I talked about time transmogrification, how they use the numbers, you can call them dollars, the numbers that they swipe from us against us. In other words, they steal our time and use it as a tool to turn us into something that's contrary to God, transmogrification, a gross human like being, something totally God does not want or recognize. And then that did that to you in transmogrification laughs about it. It becomes humorous to them. So, as I said, Area 52 America was all about the changing of the law by using the legal system against the people of the world. And America was the tool to do it. It was bound by the past and is trying to hoodwink us, hook us into believing that the things that they are doing are of the God of Christianity, Christ, and it is not. It's not true. You know what's interesting when you look into Habakkuk and he says that they live lavishly and they have plenteous and they drag their net. Oh, by the way, there's a net on every bill. Even on the 20s across the top, you'll see there's a little net, a snare. And they drag their net around the world and they create wars and they sacrifice to their net. Do you know what they mean by sacrifice? They are taking people, they bring them to war to hate and kill and destroy, and then they drag them to hell. We're witnessing this, folks. We're witnessing this. This has been going on for years. This whole order of evil has always, always, always been here, folks. I see people online saying they're discovering that the world is being taken over. It's always been there. You just never recognized it. You never thought about it. Your minds were filled with all kinds of things. How good America was. And if you're in Russia, how good Russia is and how good China is. And you're told this all the time. Why they're stealing your wealth and time, sacrificing you to that net on that bill, and causing you to be in a contract. The beast system's here. It's always been here. Some point, they're going to get you to have it put on you permanently, I believe, or to have it enter into your body somehow by some kind of electronic device. But you've already been doing it. You've been trained to do it, and you don't recognize it. It doesn't mean that you're evil. It just means that the control apparatus, as God said, powers and principalities in high places have always been here. And he says that they've always been here from the beginning of time. They've always been here. The whole system's corrupt. Everybody on top's, actors as far as I'm concerned. No matter how good or bad they are, like scientific dialectical materialism, you have to have two opposing forces. Opposing forces in every aspect of your life. Not just politics, not just right wing, left wing, or whatever they are promoting. But even in your normal life, they're trying to dissect you and put you against each other. We all know this. So, as I'm saying, Area 52 has been talking about this for 20 years. I'm going to put up a couple old programs, and that's it. I'm going to put up scientific dialectical materialism and time transmogrification. It'll be separate programs that I broadcasted uh, in 2005, 6, and 7. And then we went on to work on films, and we had a lot of attacks from the dark forces, and there is some of my films on there that are based on true stories, interdimensional beings, like the one on Pastor Steve, which now he talks about that in his story that's on my site, both on Rumble and on YouTube. Uh, you're probably viewing it right now. Basically, they were trying to get him to go in the water. There was some kind of ship under the water. Now, I seen on Redacted the other day, this is right around Christmas 2025. Uh, Redacted was talking about they were interviewing someone who was in the government, said that they have bases underwater. So isn't that crazy? 50 years ago, Pastor Steve in 1974 faced these things. It's a really interesting story because what's so incredible about it is God intervened and stopped them, and they freaked out. And Pastor Steve didn't know what was going on. And they were screaming at that time is short, much shorter than we have. They knew that they were running out of time. It's just crazy, these things that are happening today. But I'm going to let you guys go. Area 52 America was about the law becoming alien, the devices in government that were alien to man, the whole order of things that have been happening over the years was all part of America bringing in the final ending or being part of it. And we are in the Bible. Habakkuk talks about it. And Habakkuk, here's what I want to say to people who are preachers or pastors. They want to say Habakkuk was for the past, but you really have to take a close look at it because God says this prophecy is going to tarries. And right underneath it says it won't tarry. It's going to come times more than once, folks. And it says in there, it comes at the end, and it says it takes the breath of the earth, all of the earth, all nations. So, yes, Habakkuk is pointing to now also. It's a very big part of understanding Revelations. All right, folks, thank you for listening to me. God bless. Take care. And remember, Thessalonians 1:5. Are you a child of the day, of the light, or are you a child of the night or darkness? It's time to get it together. All right, see ya.